All right, as we're preparing for our assessment tomorrow, let's see how we did on the following questions. So as we take a look at placing this mass on the spring, keep in mind that when you place the mass on the spring, it's going to cause it to compress. The more mass, the more compression. Think about when two individuals sit on a trampoline. The person with more mass is going to cause the trampoline to dip down in more than the person with less mass. Same thing if you sit on bed springs. So when we're comparing the masses of 20, 40, and 60 grams, the more that they compress, the more elastic potential energy they will have. So therefore, since we have three values, the least mass will cause it to compress the least. The medium mass will cause it to compress the medium amount. And the largest mass will allow it to compress the largest amount. Now, as that mass compresses, the more elastic potential energy it has. As we go to then fill out our graph, when we put their amount of elastic potential energy in, spring R had the least amount of compression, so therefore it would have the least elastic potential energy. Spring S had a medium amount, and T was really compressed, so therefore it would have the largest amount of elastic potential energy. At this time, press pause and take a moment to put any of these notes on your physical science review paperwork and fix the above questions if you need to make any adaptations. All right, we've got an archer firing an arrow. Maybe it's Chloe because I know she shoots a bow and arrow. But it's also an example of gaining and transferring elastic potential energy. So in step one, if we notice, the bow is not stretched or compressed. Therefore, if there's no stretch or compress, there is no gain of that elastic potential energy. Here, the bow becomes stretched. So that is where it is gaining. Elastic potential energy. As it shoots, that elastic potential energy gets converted to that energy in motion, which that energy in motion, Abby, what's that called? Yep, I hope that you just answered that. It gets converted to kinetic energy. So that's going to cause our amount of elastic potential energy to decrease because kinetic energy in turn is increasing. So now based off these diagrams, let's see what happens to that elastic potential energy. So from step 1 to step 2, we know that it is increasing. Then from step 2 to step 3, it is decreasing. That would make our correct answer choice B. At this time, take a moment to correct your Go formative and to put any notes you need to study on your physical science review. All right, let's head to this next example. Ms. Robinson, you with me? Ward, Mr. Wilson, hope you're following along, because this one's going to tie a little bit of everything involved. So now we're dealing with all different types of potential energies, as well as forces. We're dealing with magnetic, elastic, and gravitational. So let's see what happens. So first of all, one thing that we know about the two magnets is that when we have two opposing poles, we know that that is going to be an attraction force, pulling those two together. Now, one thing that we notice, that the height of the magnet, when it is released due to that force of attraction, decreases. So we have a decrease in height, which is then going to affect the amount of gravitational potential energy. So as we have a decrease in height, the gravitational potential energy is going to go down. If we take a look at the rubber band, we notice that rubber band becomes more stretched. As the rubber band becomes more stretched, that causes elastic potential energy to go up. And as we head back to our magnets, we see that their attraction, and we see that they get closer together. As they get closer together, the amount of magnetism increases when they are closer together. So now, given all of that information, what happens when that upper magnet is released? Well, we see our magnetic and gravitational and elastic potential energy, all three are changing. If we take a look, our elastic potential energy is increasing, our magnetism is increasing, and our gravitational potential energy is decreasing. That would make our answer choice C. At this time, please make any corrections that you need to, both to your study guide and to the Go Formative, and be ready to kick some butt on this assessment tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.